Welcome back to Block TV. I'm Zachy Hennessy, and you are watching Links in the Chain, where we take the time to talk to interesting folks in the blockchain industry. Now, Roll is a company that, according to their site, mints branded digital tokens that are unique to the user's online presence, allowing them to own, control, and coordinate the value they create across platforms. Here to explain what that even means are Bradley Miles, co-founder and CEO, and his fellow co-founder, Sid Kala. Hi, guys.
Hey, Zachy, what's going on? How are you?
Hey, good to see you. So first things first, in layman's terms, speak to a simpleton. What is Roll and what do you do?
Yeah, so Roll is blockchain infrastructure for social money. What that means is we brand digital currency on the Ethereum blockchain specific to a creator. So someone like you, Zachy, the Sonic Wombat, what we would do is we would mint 10 million wombats. And those wombats are specific to you and your community, and also specifically a fungible digital currency on the Ethereum blockchain. Through that, you can disperse and release wombats to your followers across the web, whether it's YouTube, Patreon, Twitter, etc. Create ways to spend wombats using Roll, and then using other open finance protocols like Uniswap, making wombats instantly tradable. So assigning an ETH value to wombats. So anyone in the world can now exchange ETH for wombats and become a participant in your network. And
okay, so real quick, to just hop in here. So you're suggesting that it's essentially a way of allowing creators to work more, not transactions, so to speak, but to create that extra level of exchange between a creator and their followers. Now, this, to me, from where I'm sitting, seems similar to the idea of, for example, Patreon. So, where users can kind of support their creators to a certain degree, and in return for that, gain some kind of reward. So if you were to kind of draw a differentiation between those two models, how would you define the difference between, for example, the Patreon model and what you guys are suggesting?
Yeah, so part of the Patreon model is that you have a fixed dollar value that you are giving to the creators. What we are more interested in is like, how do you bootstrap value in the community in the first place? So that's part of the difference in value proposition, that the way we are different from Patreon. The other thing is we also want to see the community as being a larger stakeholder in the creators' economy, as we say, in their crypto economy that's enabled by wombats in this case. So that's another differentiation that would be different from Patreon. And the good thing with Roll is that actually can work very well with Patreon. So we don't even see that as a competitor. For example, one of the big things that Roll provides is that you can incentivize actions that are valuable to you. So if you think having more Patreon subscribers and having more patrons on Patreon is more valuable to you, then you can reward them with your social money. So it's very complementary in that way.
Okay, for instance, we have a creator named Laurel, who's an Instagrammer who also has a Patreon, and Laurel created Tingles, her own social money. And she's now giving that to her top Patreon followers. So if you were to check out her Patreon and contribute $5, you'd receive a certain amount of Tingles. You'd receive more if you contributed, let's say, $50 or $100 a month.
Okay, interesting. Okay, sure. So talk to me a little bit about the inspiration behind Roll's inception. Like, why did you think it was necessary to bring this idea to fruition? Where did the idea come from for such an idea, this social token?
Yeah. So Sid and I have both been researchers in the blockchain space for a number of years. And we're always just fascinated by this idea of the evolution of digital communities, whether it's around a creator or a general group like a subreddit. We almost thought of them as their own unique digital nations with their own culture, let's say, of fan behavior. Some even have their own language, in terms of memes, GIFs, inside jokes, maybe a name for the nation, like a Swifties or something like that. And it becomes interesting to start posing the question, should this digital community have their own economics? How could you breathe new economic life into that digital community? And that became the premise for Roll, this idea that the network value of a community could and should actually be platform independent. It should exist outside of a platform, and the economics themselves should be continually spread out among the people responsible for generating that value in the first place, the community members.
Interesting. So in regards to, you're in beta currently, is that right?
Yeah. So we're in beta right now, and we've minted with over 40 digital communities. So millions of units of social money have spread across thousands of users on dozens of platforms.
Okay, sure. So, but in regards to your creators, the creators that you've so far partnered with, in order to have a token, according to your site, you have to have signed up through the creator network. So talk to me a little bit about what that sign up process is like, and is there any sort of vetting process, or how do you meet the bar to gain your own token?
Yeah, so for us, we get really excited when the community itself has an understanding of digital currency. This is to say they, talk about it. They may trade on exchanges. They may, just generally be familiar with the blockchain space. One area we're super excited about is the area of crypto art. So digital artists making non-fungible tokens, usually tradable on platforms like OpenSea. Some of the superstars that have really emerged in that space have minted with us. So two that come to mind are Connie Digital, who's minted Hue with us, and Skeeny, another artist from Belgium who's minted his own social money Skull. Both of those artists have dispersed their social money widely among some of the top communities that they use, whether it's Cent or Twitter or Discord.
Okay, sure. So it sounds great. At first glance, however, it may seem like you guys are pumping a market with altcoins in an environment that seems already kind of saturated with different choices in crypto. So from what I understand, that's not necessarily the case. Is that correct?
Well, that's definitely not the case. So the way we see this and approach this is there has to be value without, let's say, there ever being any, even any exchange. So the value is inherent to the community. So if you take away, let's say, like any conversion to dollar, like people already are finding value in this immensely. So the value always circulates within the community. So doesn't have to be anything external. So for example, if the creator thinks certain actions are valuable, he can incentivize those with their social money, and then fans can collect enough social money and then redeem that for some of the specific experiences that the creators have put up. So in crypto art, for example, like a good use case that we get is the artist publishes posts elsewhere. So let's say you have third parties like Crypto Voxels, where you want to try to get more traffic, you want to have digital meetups, you want more people to watch your videos, your tutorials, and then there's all those ways to collect more social money. And at the end of the day, when you have enough, you can actually redeem them for, let's say, like a one-on-one digital edition art, which is like a unique NFT piece that is never going to be minted again. So there's a lot of inherent value that we already see as opposed to some of the bad behaviors that we had also seen in the space in the past.
I see. Okay, sure. In regards to the creator having control over their token, once they receive that initial, I believe you said something like 10,000, a set number of tokens, how much control do they have over the flow of that currency once it's been introduced?
Yeah, so once you're a creator on Roll, on day one, you receive 2 million units of your social money. And there's 10 million units in total. The rest is released over a 2 to 3 year time period. Once you sign up on Roll and become a creator, you could do what you like with your social money. Through the Roll wallet, you could simply withdraw to some other Ethereum wallets like MetaMask or Trust Wallet. The choice is really up to you. So the value prop of you controlling your own digital community through this new form of value is really central to how we think about the culture of the creators we work with at Roll.
Okay, so here's a hypothetical situation. I'm going to throw a fastball at you. I have a nemesis. His name is Asher Westrup Evans. He sits at the desk across from me. Let's say I got 2 million Wombat coins, as we established earlier in this segment. I give them all to my friend, and then he puts them all in his wallet, and then he throws his phone in the river. So, like, what prevents, at that point, then what do? There he is there, the mischievous little devil.
Yeah, I mean, in general, if you hold the private keys to your, so at the end of the day, this is built on the ERC20 standard on the Ethereum network. So if you have transferred this to your own wallet and you have lost the keys, then they are pretty irrecoverable. I guess you could argue that the rest of the people will get a higher value prop.
Okay, sure. Thanks so much for joining us, Bradley and Sid. Really appreciate your time. And for more information on Roll, you can go to tryroll.com. Check them out. And for all your information on blockchain news, we are BLOCKTV.
For more news and updates, follow us on Twitter.